Yeah, I feel like hey, Gritty, I feel like I just yelled in your ear right there. All right, give me. You see reason for optimism with Indiana basketball. Am I wrong about this? Or did I just read the headline?
I thought they played harder.
Okay.
Yesterday.
All right.
I don't know if that's a reason for optimism. I think effort should be the least of expectations.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I thought they brought more effort yesterday, but they got smoked by 20.
You know, they got smoked by 20, and the team that they played didn't have their best score, or 14.5 points a game. You know.
And that goes back to the Wright State game. Wright State was missing their best player. Beat them by what, 8? 6?
All right, I'm going to ask you this. The hard play thing I don't really care about. What I do care about is this. Why does Indiana just get their ass kicked and can't score against good teams? Like, I get it, okay? It's not Indiana of 1976. But they can't score against good teams.
You know what I saw yesterday that I really didn't like, and I saw it a couple of times, is that on a UConn miss, they rebound, they outlet, they push.
Yes.
Xavier Johnson looks at an open wing, and then he backs it out and runs half-court offense.
That's why I've said, how do I put this right? Last year, he got hurt. And I said, you know what? Puts the ball in the hands of the guys that can really play, not the guy that thinks he's the point guard.
Right.
There's nothing. You guys, all of you that have played basketball, you've played basketball with that little pain in the ass on the sand, that's got to dribble it and thinks he sets up the offense. And he sucks. And everything has to go around him, kid.
He's pointing at shit. Nobody knows what he's pointing at. Like, come on.
That's why I keep saying more Galloway, less. How do you play with that?
Yeah, right.
You don't. And that's what's killing me. That and the freaking weaving and the standing. And honestly,
the weave, I don't know. When do you get out of a weave? Have you ever called a weave? If you called a weave, why?
Never. No, you don't know. The reason you call a weave in modern basketball is so that 1, 2, 3 third handoff, whatever your best player is, let's say he's handing off, going to his right, and he's right-handed. You add a ball screen. Every slap dick on TV calls it going downhill. Now he's going downhill. That's the only reason. But Indiana doesn't even do that. Indiana just weaves.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I want them. I think they're good. Hell, people say I hate Indiana. Look at our background. It's all Indiana stuff here. It's like a shrine to Indiana. But I want them to be good, but can't. They're hard to watch.
Really hard to watch. Here, school me up on this. Right? They do a lot of the weaving, and they do a lot of really, really hard work in order to get the ball to a wing so he can enter the ball to renew or wear on the block. Why not just get the ball to the wing and put the guy on the block and get it to him that way? Am I overthinking?
Okay. Here's what Coach and I know it's outdated. Okay, it's outdated what I'm going to say to you. You put two guys in a stack, okay, and you do whatever you want, raise it up, whatever you want to do. All right, you put a really good shooter opposite.
Yeah.
Okay. You get the guy, whatever guy. So I don't even know, whoever you think your best shooter is, whatever. You put him on the ball side, whatever you want to do to get the ball on the wing. Basically, what you do to get the ball on the wing is set a ball screen, dribble the ball to the wing. The guy in the stack cuts off, maybe he pops up, maybe you throw it to it's easy. Guy curls, maybe bumps the defender who is on the high side of the post guy. You take the ball down to the wing, you throw it in. You don't need to do all this shit.
That's pretty easy.
I'm telling you. Like, one of the easiest things in the world to do in modern basketball is get a guy open by cutting off of a post guy, because nobody in college basketball guards off the ball.
Right.
So I got a post guy. All right. Imagine that the basket, Kent's below me, so the bucket's right here over my left shoulder. So we're on the left block. Kent's the guy below me. I'm the post guy. Kent curls off of me. He's off it. He curls off of me. He bangs my post. Ball's dribbled here. I post up. I get the ball. Why do we have a good shooter opposite? Because normally the help comes from 2 passes away.
Right.
So that guy is free. Well, if you got a really good shooter opposite, then the defense shifts and only puts 1 foot in the lane, as opposed to coming all the way in the lane to help on the post. So you fake it into the post, skip pass it over the top, and your shooter's standing right freaking there. You don't have to do 17 different moves to get that. Dribble it over to the side, curl Kent off of me, post my fat ass up. The guy curling can go to the top of the key. The opposite post could go wherever, go to the top of the key, and the other play 3 on the other side. You'll end up playing 2 against. It's unbelievable.
Why would people choose to be more complicated
I
than
don't
they need
know.
to be? Why? How does that make sense?
Kent, there's a sign. Dick Vermeil comes. I think I told you this. Dick Vermeil comes in, and he's speaking to the Indiana basketball team. And we're all like, this is Dick Vermeil. We're hoping he's going to cry. I was an assistant, so we're cynical, right? Don't complicate winning, he says. And I puts that up on the wall. Puts it up. Don't complicate winning.
Yeah.
Look, if you're going to get the ball into the post, there's 100 ways that you could do it off of 2 passes. There's 100 ways you could do it off of 1 dribble. I could write right now 10 different, if we had a blackboard, I'll write you 10 different ways to get it onto the block. From a post guy, I want it on from a post guy. Okay, run him a little high-low. I want it on from my point guard. Okay, here's what you do. Ball, dribble handoff. I want it from a cutter. Okay, run a guy from the opposite block, off your cutter, hit him on the wing, throw it into the post. It's like Jesus. You got me going on basketball. You got me going on basketball. I haven't thought about real basketball stuff in a long time. But I'm watching this shit and I'm going, what? Well, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to, right? What would you say Indiana's offense is?
Renew on the block.
On the block.
Yeah.
Somebody on the block. Hell, they threw it to that fat kid from Ball State on the block.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Ware, no points in the paint. Only scored from outside the arc.
I'll give Woody credit. He said it. He goes, he didn't want no part of that paint. He said in the post game, he said Ware didn't want no part. How do you want no? I mean, this is why I try to tell you people, like, when Ware was dominating and Cups was playing well against mid-majors, right?
Yeah.
And everybody was killing me for saying, well, as a coach, it's one thing to bully a 6'8", 210-pound Florida Gulf Coast post guy. But now you're talking about some dudes that have been coached by a monster. Danny Hurley will coach you.
Yeah.
And now these dudes are going to hit. These dudes.
They looked like a much better coached team. They looked better fundamentally. They looked like they had played together before. They had every advantage.
And I got to hear about Gabe Cups against Florida Gulf Coast. Yeah. No, you don't understand.
I did that.
I know you did. What are you doing? You're
look
better than that.
Everybody's moving.
Oh, yeah. I know. And that's my disappointment with Galloway. And I'm with you. Like, I would make it mandatory. They call it throw it ahead in basketball. Just throw it ahead. That point guard, it's not Isaiah.
Right.
Xavier Johnson ain't Isaiah. Get the ball out of his hands, throw it on ahead, and maybe, okay, if Ware doesn't want the post, make him run a wing. He can let him go to the rim. Let Galloway get something going to the rim. Let that Mbako. You can't get Mbako going. Well, everybody's worried about his shooting. That's stupid. He should be worried about getting to the foul line, running the floor, getting an offensive rebound. Everybody's worried, well, he can't. He's not shooting. So what? Run the floor and make that in point guard. You don't throw the ball ahead to these guys who are coming out. Because he's not good enough.
Well, where is the consequence?
There's no
consequence. We hear about consequences. If they won't give it to me, I got to go somewhere else to get it. I don't know what that means. I know what it means in my world, but I don't think it means the same thing in Mike Woodson's world.
Ken, let me ask you, who would you start today? Two-part question.
Oh, among those 5.
Who would you start today, and would it be the same starting lineup?
I don't even think it matters.
I do. This is a great time to say, you know what? I don't know who started last. Cups did
today.
Today.
You
in
get
this
attention
game
today.
You get attention today.
You're not going to get like a transformative behavior no matter what you do today. So why not?
I would.
Right, I'm with you.
I would start whoever I think. I would start Renew. And then it'd be hey, Galloway, you've been here, you've been here playing okay for a long time, but we haven't won shit. Sit your ass down, Cups, get in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd give CJ Gunn a chance. I don't know if he's any good or not, but I'd give him a shot.
He got after people yesterday defensively.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I would reward that.
Like he's got busy hands. He looked kind of crazy and frenetic.
Good.
But let's go.
Coolest for the club, baby.
Yeah, right.
I'm with you. That's why I would give him. Hey, look, I'd give him a shot. What do you know? You don't know what you have in that kid. A kid can shoot it a little bit. I'd give him a shot. I'd give Cups a shot. I'd give Renew. I'm not trying to lose a game. He's my best option right now.
Right.
I'd give him a shot. And then I tell you who I would go more who I wouldn't start. I wouldn't start that Mbako. And I would tell him, look, you're going to go in the game, and I don't even want you shooting jump shot, but I want you getting 10 points. Figure out how to get 10 points without a jump shot when I put you in. And then I wouldn't start Galloway. I wouldn't start Johnson. fuck them. I wouldn't. Not that I wouldn't play them.
Yeah, right.
You know, not that I wouldn't play them. You get in the game, but you're not. No, you're not doing that. No.
I got a problem with something that both Renew and Johnson do, and I've got the inverse problem in the NFL. I was watching a game yesterday. It was the Bills and the Jets, and a Jets guy makes a play on a ball. I think at that point they were down 27-6. Second guy in the secondary makes a play. What are you doing?
Okay.
But then you're down 13, and Xavier Johnson and Renew, they commit a foul. And Renew's fouls were a little bit gray area, okay. But obvious foul, like Johnson, knocks a guy beyond the baseline.
I'm so glad you didn't hit me because I was on the end. I'm so glad because I was right here.
You didn't hit the glass.
Oh, I would have hit my head. It would have been over.
Yeah.
But no, go ahead.
You know,
yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
What? How could that be? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Go play basketball, for God's sake, and stop your whining. I can't take it.
I'm telling you, Indiana.
Is that old guy yelling at clouds?
No, it's basketball. It's basketball guy that's like, hey, how about you figure out how to win? I saw both of them. I was watching the Jets game, and by the way, the Jets are the worst offensive team in the history of football.
Ooh, not good. Go ahead. See how that backup quarterback plays instead of Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Oh,
yeah.
But I'm with you. Like, you know, you get a bucket, now you're flexing, you're down 24, you come in. I tell you what I would do, because I turned the game off. I would see who played well in the last 3 minutes. I turned it off. It was 24. And I would say, all right, this is what I learned from Coach Snyder. I'd be, all right, who was in there? Who was there anybody that sparked? I don't care who it was. I'd give him a start.
Yeah.
Louisville stinks. And even if you beat Louisville, which you probably do when you put all your players in, but even if you beat them, it's not any kind of NCAA win. It's not, I mean, it's probably bad loss. And coaches don't do this anymore. But if Woodson really is in Indiana, Bob Knight, blah, 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 somebody's sitting.
Yeah.
Has to.
He always starts the same guys.
Always.
I don't get. It's like Denny Crum with Wiley Brown. Wiley Brown started and played 5 minutes every game. Why?
Because he had a bad thumb. He had no thumb.
Yeah, he had the prosthetic.
Yeah, he had a prosthetic.
Wiley.
Well, he lost it in a garbage can.
It's going back 40 years.
I know. But, you know, all right, but I still think that Indiana, when I look at Indiana, first, it's an ugliest team I've ever seen at Indiana. Just a freaking ugly group of guys. I mean, I guess Galloway's cute, and I guess Johnson is too, but god damn. One dude looks like a girl that freaking Renew. He's got the hair. I mean, honest to God, it is. But I do see athletic ability.
Yeah.
I mean, the little white guys come off with the shaved heads and all this stuff. I'm like, what clean this team up.
Gabe Cupps could use a haircut.
Get a haircut.
He's got kind of that front pulled thing with the bangs.
That's what I'm saying.
Bangs don't look good on a basketball
If I looked like Gabe Cupp, I'd make sure everybody saw me with my head, my face. I mean, damn. I mean, it's an ugly team. Wipe your ass, Indiana basketball, and let's get serious. But today's a great day to make a statement. I don't know when they play next. I'm sure it's a shit team that they play next. But you cannot, if you are, in my world, I always try to think if I were a player, and I'm listening to all this Bobby Knight stuff, the history of Indiana. Well, anybody knows the history of Indiana knows that you bench guys, period.
Right.
You earn your right to play. And when you don't earn your right to play, that means Ken Sterling earns the right to play. Or everybody, yeah. How good would they be if he and I were out there?
And that's kind of what you're coaching against when you coach at Indiana and you've got all these fans who were kind of taught basketball through the Knight era. It's like there's got to be a consequence. We learned that in life and in basketball from Knight. There's got to be and hopefully from our dads, there's got to be a consequence for playing like crap and playing indifferently. And there never is. Like Archie Miller never did that.
No, he never did. Tom really didn't.
No.
You know what I'm interested in? I'm interested in this, Kent. Do you think NIL influences this? I do too.
I get paid whatever I do.
You know, and we're paying this guy so much money, and I'm hearing, I don't know if this is true or not, but you know, I got a bunch of people around the program. I'm hearing there's so many outside influences on some of these guys, it's sick. And I had a good friend of mine, Reggie Jones. You know Reggie. He texted me yesterday. How is this team so disconnected this early?
Yeah.
I'm hearing there are a lot of guys around the program that shouldn't be around the program.
But you have that at many programs.
Yeah.
Like, why is it different at Indiana? You've got those influences that can.
Yeah.
I look at Kansas. Kansas goes out and gets 5-star guys every year, and somehow they manage to play well together.
That's a great question.
And never at Indiana. It's always nonsense and drama, and I can't take it anymore.
It's, you know, I hate to say this, but I did not know that Indiana was playing yesterday. Or I knew, but I forgot.
Oh, really?
And I was watching, I was doing a bunch of stuff. I turned my TV on upstairs, and it came on for the last few minutes of ESPN's NFL Countdown. And I got up to do, I think I took the dog out, and I came back, and it was from Madison Square Garden or whatever. It's the Empire Classic, Indiana. I'm like, oh, no kidding. I didn't get a chance to make a bet. Damn, that's how much I didn't even know. And again, it's more of a function of being tired of it.
Yeah.
Like,
right. Well, and if you combine that with football, the absolute idiocy of continuing to watch that, and you do it on back-to-back days on a weekend. I mean, your weekend shot to hell. And what'd you get? I got no enjoyment out of either event, zero. So what are we doing? What kind of an athletic department is this? The one game I wanted to see and couldn't, and it had a positive result, was soccer.
Yeah. Okay, it leads me to my Bill Walton question. I told you before, save it for the air. I contend that the Indiana football loss to Michigan State is the worst loss in the Tom Allen era, and arguably the worst loss in this century. I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
Because first off, you got a completely disheveled. Michigan State was going to be bad before the whole Mel Tucker thing happened.
Yeah, right.
Then I think, I could be wrong about this, but I think they were working on their third or fourth string quarterback. I think when the season started, this guy was like fourth on the depth chart.
Yeah.
They had beaten Wisconsin, so they've shown that they can at least play somewhat. And on senior night, in front of nobody, or senior day, you lose to an interim coach who literally comes off like a complete moron.
He looks like he got a sideline pass.
Honest to God.
He just stands there and he's watching a game.
And then he speaks and he's
anybody, there's nobody around him?
No, he speaks and he's a complete moron. I'm telling you, when you do you think, I mean, I don't know, I'm not going to tell you which one is. It's close when you add all those things up.
If it were any other program, it would be an automatic yes. But with Tom, I think you're probably right.
I think so, Ken.
So here's what he said in the postgame.
Oh, no.
He said, I got a team. They know I got their back. Period.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
What does that mean?
What could it possibly mean?
What could it mean? I'm trying to promote.
Who are they fighting against? Why do they need him to have their... I don't understand the context.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, let's just take it for...
He said it emphatically. I got their back, period.
Well, they don't have his.
What? That's the question.
And whatever their record is, it's been answered by however many losses they have, because they don't have his back.
No.
If you have someone's back, you have a group, and again, I screwed this up, and so I know exactly what I speak of. You have a group that does not let themselves lose. We lost my senior night to a 17-1 Michigan team. Gary Grant hit a shot. Even though we were bad, Gary Grant hit a shot basically at the buzzer to beat us. All right. We fought like hell. We were decimated. Knight wasn't playing half the team. Okay. But you don't lose to Michigan frickin' State with an interim coach and a horse shit team before they had an interim coach. I'm just telling you. They don't have his back.
No.
So what does that mean?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Does it... was there any question that he wasn't going to bring everybody up to Purdue this Saturday to play in the bucket game?
Was one of them going pro? Is this Caleb Williams? Is one of them, you know what I mean?
Aaron Casey's the only guy in that team with any kind of NFL potential pedigree.
What is wrong?
That dude can play.
Yeah, he can really play. They've always got a guy like that that can play.
Yeah, right.
There's always like one guy like that. That linebacker that was Micah.
McFadden.
Yeah, he was with the Giants, probably still is. But I'm telling you, Ken, I don't know that I've ever seen him. I just don't know if I've ever seen a worse loss. A bad team fires the coach, interim coach, they're worse. You've proven that at least you could beat Wisconsin at home, and you do that?
Yeah.
Kent, that's a bad night.
Well,
That's a bad night. I don't know what else to say.
And then we're supposed to be able to cleanse our palate with basketball, but it just made it worse.
Do you know what I got? I think I did tell you this. We all get this NIL letter, and we talked about it the other day, right? So I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, who legitimately in the state of Indiana on this basketball team would legitimately make money off of based on performance?
Yeah, right.
Name, image, likeness. Who on that team would you say, man, I want to associate myself with that guy's name, that guy's image, that guy's likeness?
Galloway.
Because he's cute.
Right.
And he's from around here. His dad was.
He's got a nice smile, and if he goes to a bar, people are going to show up.
Yeah. All right. That'd be it?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Where?
Right?
Yeah. And Baco and...
I mean, Anthony Leal has a sandwich or something named after him. I'm looking at him. He paid
for his sister's education
off
of his NIL.
God bless.
I can't believe he's made that much money.
I cannot either.
It's stunning.
Good for him. It's stunning.
Beautiful.
But that's the
Why
thing.
isn't that kid playing? What's the matter
I
with that
don't know.
guy? He used to be able to shoot. When he was at Bloomington South, he could shoot the ball.
He was Mr. Basketball in the state of Indiana.
Shoot. Put somebody on the floor who can shoot. I'm tired of guys who can't shoot playing for Indiana.
Boy, it's been a long time. Jordan Halls. All right, I said something and I got it correct. I did say that Woodson hasn't brought in anybody that understands the high expectations. Cheney does. That's the stupid. I forgot that Calvert was there, and I forgot that Halls was there. But I'll say this: they're not full time on that staff, and I don't know whether Calvert's invested or not. Calvert lived in Indy when he worked for Crean, so I don't know. But I look at that program and I say, okay, you said this actually. I stole your line. The culture was set by transfers from bad programs, like. Right? Cup or whatever, Miller, Coop or whatever came over from Northwestern.
Yeah.
Xavier Johnson from wherever. They said, I mean, it's just, I don't know. And
then Anthony Walker.
Why didn't he play?
What? Well, stop shooting. There's a guy you've got to stop shooting. Like other guys need to start. That dude needs to stop immediately.
I felt like he got in the game and said, this is my chance.
Yeah.
I'll make a couple buckets.
Right.
I got to play me. Right?
And he didn't hit the inside of the rim.
No, he struggled a little bit.
That's no good.
But I'm just sitting there, man.
This is how much I used to look forward to Indiana games, and this is when Cheney played. A game wasn't going to be on TV, and I think it was against Minnesota. Paulie Balls, Julie, and I got in a car and drove to the Venture Inn in Griffith because they were going to have the game on Channel 56. We drove from the north side of Chicago to Griffith to watch Indiana play Minnesota. I wouldn't walk across the street to watch these guys play.
No,
it's sickening.
I think I've talked about this with you, and I think you agree. At our age, we want appointment TV.
Right.
I want to say Indiana's playing Louisville at 4 o'clock today. Damn it, I can't wait for it. I'm going to sit my fat ass down and I'm going to watch that. Now it's like, okay, I don't. And maybe it's old age. Maybe there's people in their 20s that are doing that right now. I don't know. I'll tell you this. I was at Park Place Pub, which is a great spot in Fishers.
About 116th Street. Awesome.
Yeah, went with another couple. They're Kansas fans, and it was Thursday, I think, and Indiana was playing Wright State, whatever day that was. So there was only about 3 couples in there with Indiana gear on. Like, it was the night the Bengals were playing something. There was a shit ton of people in Bengals gear.
Really?
I mean, a ton. And so Indiana was, they got all those screens. It's a great spot. And they got all those screens, and people were cheering, and I thought it was for IU. And I'm watching the IU game while I'm having a beer and a sandwich. Wait a second, Indiana did. Oh, shit, they're cheering for the Bengals. There was nobody in there. There was like an older couple and a younger guy with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, man, I know it's Wright State, and so maybe I'm wrong. I guess if it's Purdue, they'll be in there. But would anybody care if they played Minnesota? Would anybody care if they played Ohio State? Would anybody care about any? You know what I mean?
No. No, and to that point, you go to bars when the Pacers are playing,
They won't even
and you
have
can't
that.
find it.
I know. That's the stupidest.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do think Indiana. I don't know. I don't know where they. I don't think the Big Ten's very good. I don't think Ohio State's very good. I don't think Minnesota's very good. I don't think Rutgers very good. I thought Michigan was really good. Then they got beat by Long Beach State, and Long Beach State plays Andrew's team actually right now, 1:30. I don't know that Michigan State's great. They looked okay. Purdue's great. Wisconsin stinks. They play Virginia today. I just don't think the Big Ten's very good. And I don't know, is there a pro in the Big Ten? Is there a guy? Tyson Walker's really good, but are there pros? That's why I think Indiana's going to have a pretty good year. I don't know.
They better figure it. The thing, I don't know.
They got talent. I think they have talent. Do they have talent? I'm going to ask you.
Indiana?
Yes.
They got talent.
They got
but
talent
isn't enough.
No,
Talent's got to fuse together.
I think it's a real question. Like is Gabe's cut? This sucks for Gabe Cup because he's a freshman. But you should be able to develop as a freshman, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the way college basketball is right now.
No.
You're expected.
It's not the way the kids want it.
No, right? Because you're going to leave.
Give me now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So give me your money. Give me now. And it sucks but it's the world we live in, and you're expected to perform. So I wonder. I know the kid Baco can shoot. It looks like he shoot. Cup seems to have a great sense, but are they really talented? Like I know they're long.
Okay.
I just wonder if they're like skilled. Maybe skilled's a better word.
Okay.
Are they really skilled?
No, I don't think they understand basketball at all. And,
that's the
and
problem.
we've talked about that.
Yeah.
Where individual trainers do a great job at teaching crossovers and all that crap and pulling up and shooting, but are they teaching basketball? There's no clinic. Here's how basketball works. And to me, like I'm in no position to even understand what I'm going to say because I didn't play at the collegiate level or the high school level, but there's so many great analogies, metaphors between basketball and life. Where you give, you get. If you focus on those four and they're all focused on you and everybody else, everything works great. Basketball's beautiful that way. If you got 5 selfish guys, it just dies. It just wilts and it craps and it doesn't work. And that's life to me. If you're always selfish, me, life sucks. You live a lonely life. Basketball's like that. Basketball to me is like jazz. If everybody's listening to everybody else, it really sounds great. And if everybody's just waiting for their own moment, dead.
That's perfect because I think that's exactly what Indiana is.
Yeah.
I think Indiana's a team that's 8 guys waiting for his own moment. Like I go back to what you said about Johnson not throwing the ball ahead to a wing. That's Johnson wait. That's more selfish than a guy taking a bad shot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm holding the ball off a teammate because I want to set it up. I want what?
Yeah, I'll give you a good example of this, and it all worked out, so it's good. Ryan is playing in the Hall of Fame Classic, and it's tied in overtime against Valparaiso, and it's Hummel and Martin and those guys. And so Stephen Thomas moves the ball real quick to Ryan on the wing. Ryan catches it, doesn't even look inside, just immediately throws it back. And then Steven goes to a guy named Patrick Polygraph. It comes back. It goes to Ryan. Ryan hits a hook shot. They win. It's awesome. Great moment. I said, why'd you give it up so quick? Why'd you get it back to Steven so quick? And he said, because I knew if I took my time with it, I'd never get it back. I needed the ball back so I could make the shot. He thought he was going to make the shot, and he was right. But he was like, he's thinking 5 passes ahead. I got to get the ball back. I don't know whether that's good or bad. He made the shot, so I think it's good. But if you're thinking like that, I don't think basketball works. He's anticipating Steven thinking like that.
Right. Here's what I see, and it takes a special coach, and I think Sampson's probably the best coach in college basketball because he understands this, to handle all the bullshit, accept all the bullshit, and move all the bullshit over here. I feel like Indiana's a team that is mired in stuff. just mired in myself off the court, bullshit stuff. I don't, and I was watching Danny Hurley's team, and I go, man, that's a team. I'm sure they make the same, if not more, NIL money. I'm sure Storrs, Connecticut is insane about Connecticut basketball.
Yeah.
They just won a national championship. But somehow that coach is really tough on them. I think I said this the other day. Nobody leaves, nobody quits, and they play like what you saw yesterday.
Yeah.
Even without one of their best players, even after winning national championship. That's coach. That's the real coaching. Somebody that says to you, look, he really is good. Well, the best coaches can draw up out of bounds plays. Shut up.
Yeah.
Like, just shut up. If we practice out of bounds plays for 5 minutes, we'll have a good out of bounds play. Once in a while, we'll score, and some idiot announcer will say, great out of bounds play, you're a great coach. But that stuff is where I think Woodson and his staff, I think Woodson's staff are enablers. I think they're just go along guys. I don't think there's any ass to them. Like, one thing Knight did that was smart. He hired high school coaches who were used to being teachers.
Yeah, right.
And now you hire guys that are used to being slick. And that ain't good. Like, nobody on that staff has ever taught anything.
They can go into the gym and talk to the coach and get the kid and get a bunch of disparate kids to commit to a program. They're all talented, none of them can play together.
Right. Like, high school coaches understand what you were talking about working together, understanding together. And it's just when you don't, and you ought to have a high school coach. You can have a former player, but none of those guys are even former players. I guess maybe Hunter played somewhere. But you got to, and then you got the young guy who's energetic and he's going to go get, okay. It doesn't look like a taught team.
Yeah.
It just does. And we're sitting here for 30 minutes bitching about them, but hey, that's Indiana basketball, baby.
Well, you don't get fired because you're nice to kids.
Right.
And
Right.
At the end of the day, you got to put food on the table,
Yeah.
and these guys are there to get the next job. And not there necessarily, I'm not talking about them because I don't know, Yasser Raymond and Kenya Hunter and these guys, but they like their lives. And so you want to get a kid pissed off and have that kid, run over here to compliance or run over there. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're exactly right. But it looks like that.
Yeah, it does look like that.
And that's where trust comes in. That's where, like, Danny Hurley destroys his guys, like kills them. And they trust that I'm not running to anybody. This is what I signed up for, and this is what we do.
And who is a tougher guy? Klingon? Or I don't know how you really pronounce his name, but you call him Klingon.
Yeah.
Or anybody on IU's team.
No, please. I don't even know. We should look up the stars. How many stars Klingon had?
Yeah, right.
What was that kid's name to that 23 and 11 yesterday? He's pretty good. I just talked Kristen. I forget his name. But he was damn good. I don't know if anybody ever heard of him. Now he's a fifth-year kid doing what fifth-year kids should do.
Yeah.
He went from 17 points a game as a sophomore, 10 last year, a national champion. And now here he is on a team without some of the guys, and he's averaging back to 17. That's what you're supposed to do in college basketball. You're not supposed to quit after you average 17, 10, and then you're leaving. I don't know, Kent.
It is an endless source of frustration and conversation. Indiana fans can't wait to have this conversation.
I think Indiana fans can't wait to have a conversation about are we good enough to win a national championship.
Well, I think that ship sailed.
So Brian Haas, who wants everybody fired on our stuff here. He wants everybody fired, okay?
Yeah.
He wants, not us, he loves us, and we love him, all right? He said just now this. Yeah. He said Woodson's team is unranked in his third year. Fireable offense. I prefaced it by he wants everybody fired, right? I'm going to say I get the point. I get the point. If you've gotten all these great players in here, you're at Indiana, you're a great coach, I get the point they should be ranked. But I'm not firing him in his third year. I'm just not. But I get the point. In your third year, you should be at Indiana. The way you can build a roster quickly, you should be ranked. Like Florida Atlantic should not be ranked, and you're not ranked.
They're worse with his own guys.
They're way worse with his own guys.
Yeah.
I said that before. I said he walked into Jackson Davis. Now look, Race Thompson, he wasn't going to make a big shot. Everybody knew that. He was kind of a gagging kid late. But so what? He played his nutsack. There's no question they're worse with his guys.
Yeah.
I guarantee who does not understand that. Mike Woodson. I'll tell you who also doesn't understand that. That guy, what's his name? Yazir, whatever.
Yeah.
He don't know. Our guys, man.
Roseman, not Raymond, I call him
him. And I guarantee you, not one guy on that staff is saying, "Damn, we're worse without our own guys." We're that's a great point you made, because they are. Everything's worse.
Everybody should look in the mirror and try to figure out how they could do their jobs better.
There's not a chance. There's not. You think Yazir Roseman is studying film and going back and what? Not a chance. No. I mean, I saw a thing about him. They mic'd him up at practice.
Oh.
He was a cheerleader.
That's always a mistake.
Always, unless you're a teacher, and usually teachers don't want to be mic'd up.
Hey, speaking of that, not to steer us away from
Please
Indiana
do.
basketball, but you were talking about Urban and the coaching thing. He was talking to DiNardo about zero blitzes and the rep trees you need to run to attack them.
Yeah.
It was fascinating. It was just a great 10 minutes. I loved it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like his thing with DiNardo is really good.
Yeah.
His thing with on Big Noon Kickoff is really good. Like, here's what I don't understand. And Gritty, you're on this chat, so I'm going to ask you. You got this whole Michigan thing, all this stuff with Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
You got Urban Meyer on the set.
Yeah.
Why are you having, like, you got Rob Stone and Urban Meyer, and then in between you got Mark Ingram, Brady Quinn, and Matt Leinart. Why wouldn't you just have Urban Meyer and a host, and Urban explains why this Michigan thing matters?
More is better.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But when you get DiNardo in him, DiNardo does what DiNardo kind of does what he should do. He kind of prompts.
He knows the right question to ask to get the right answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, man, it's really good. Like, that's where I've said about, hey, look, I get it. We're going to watch college and pro football. We just do. But I'm watching game day, and I'm like, how many times can guys talk over each other and giggle?
I can't take it. This is, and it's a great allegory to what we're talking about with basketball. You've got to listen. If you're among a bunch of people, you have to listen, not just, and you see it on ESPN all the time. That NBA show is completely unwatchable. It is one of the worst TV shows, any category, local, PBS, whatever. I've never seen a worse TV show. Nobody listens to each other. Richard Jefferson a little bit. Nobody furthers the conversation. It's just endless screaming and yammering over the top of each other. I don't know what anybody's trying to say.
They've never got that show right.
No.
They've never. They've tried everything. I remember Sage Steele was the host of it, and I saw her, and we were just having a kind. She goes, "This show's so bad." She goes, "Jalen Williams, worst teammate ever. Just worst, because he's waiting for you to shut up so he can talk."
Yeah.
And that's not the way you do it.
No.
It isn't. You and I do. I think you and I do a great job of listening to one another and then talking about it. I do, and it's rare because everybody's now auditioning.
Right. And the more time I get, the more words I get to say into a microphone, the better my brand shows up. And that's completely nonsensical. That's just not.
That's why I love working with Tirico Benetti and Dave Fleming and Dave O'Brien. They were so secure.
Yeah.
I worked with a guy named Eric Collins at the TBT, and it was like he was auditioning. I go, man, all right, good for you. I hope you get a comedy show. Right? It's like, you know what I mean? All right, I'm going to address this. I want your opinion on this, because my answer, I'm not sure. We got to get Indiana kids. We got to get Indiana kids at Indiana.
I think they understand things about basketball and kids in other states don't.
I would think I would put Illinois, Ohio in that too.
Yeah, you can.
I would say,
you can expand
and Michigan
it a
if you
little
can.
bit.
But I think getting players that were.
But there are yo-yos here too.
Right.
Like Jeremy Hollowell is a great example of a kid that never should have been recruited in Indiana, despite the fact that he went to Lawrence Central.
Right.
You know, they're a kid. Nutsy, Honor Mascara Perea. Never recruit that kid. What are you doing? So you've got to pick the right kids. Indiana players, that's not a panacea.
Right.
You want Indiana type players. That's different.
Right.
Cups is a guy like that.
I agree. I think Cups is a guy like that. I think that there was probably a point in his career that Xavier Johnson was probably like that. That point has passed.
Yeah.
Because now he's wanting to be a guy. But I look at these guys and I say, okay, and everybody wants to equate it to Purdue, but every guy at Purdue isn't an Indiana guy. Lawyer is not an Indiana guy. I don't know if anybody knows, but Edie is not an Indiana guy. I mean, yes, Braden Smith is. Yes, Gillis is.
Lawyer went to high school in Indiana.
Did he?
Yeah.
Fort Wayne?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was from Michigan. The lawyer's an Indiana guy. They got great
his
Indiana.
family is originally, but then he went to Homestead or someplace like that with...
Well, I knew his dad. I couldn't hire his dad at Bowling Green because he got a show cause at Cincinnati.
He may have been working for the Mad Ants or something like that in Fort Wayne. So, because I watched him play down at LN one game.
Yeah, the whole thing's wrong.
He in first, I think.
Okay, the whole thing's wrong.
They got like 11 Indiana guys on the roster.
Oh,
Purdue
shit,
does.
am I wrong? Really?
But, yeah, I mean, some of them are down the bench.
Right. How many does Indiana have? Does Indiana...
They got Galloway from Culver and by way of Carmel. Leal.
Well, I know they got Ian Stevens, my friend, Brody's brother.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be one more. Is Peyton Sparks from here?
Yeah. Went to Delta or someplace like that.
Yeah, somewhere outside of Month. Now, think about that kid. All right, think about that kid. I get it, you want to play at Indiana. I get it, you want to challenge yourself. But he's at Ball State. He's going to have a nice career. He gets sold, come here, and now they recruit 2 other guys, big guys over him.
Yeah.
And now you're not getting time. Meanwhile, Mike Lewis, I hate this. He just got his ass kicked by Evansville the other night. Bad. And Evansville with Ragland, they look pretty good. But one kid can make such a difference, man. Such a difference.
And if you got a kid who leaves, that communicates something really negative to the rest of the folks. Don't you think? Like Sparks, our best player just went wheels up and bounced. No?
What it communicates is, oh crap, I thought we were going to have a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
sometimes
what am I
players
working for? Am I working to lift this program, or am I working to get the hell out like Peyton did?
No, you're right. No, there's a whole dynamic with that. But man, I think Indiana, I'm sure, I would rather, I think this. I think production is production.
Yeah.
I think guys that could really play, score, and produce at places will produce at Indiana. I'm not saying a guy will go and get 25, who averaged 25 somewhere, but I learned this in AAU, man. Production, guys, there was a kid, Daryl Peterson. Daryl Peterson was a guy, I offered him a scholarship. He was from the Akron area. And I'm like, this dude can play against anybody in the world and get 14 points on the Columbus Red or whatever the hell that big team was. He goes to Akron, because he lived right there. He got 14 points in college from his freshman year to his senior year.
Really?
And I'm like, you know what? Production's production. Instead, Indiana's taking these guys. What did Ware average? Like 4 and ended up sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
Right? You're Indiana. It's like the Yankees when Steinbrenner took them.
Yeah.
That's what I always liked about Coach Knight. He's like, we're Indiana. Fuck all you. I want to hear about what Ball State does. I want to hear about what Purdue does. I ain't even talking about Purdue. Screw that. We're Indiana. We're the Yankees. Now I feel like we're Cincinnati. It sucks. It doesn't. You get mad at me all you'd like. You can kiss my ass too, because we're just sitting 2 guys here that love the place, and that's the way it is. So there you go.
I always think when I think of Cincinnati, I think of Antonio Wingfield.
There you go. An absolute genius.
I heard stories about he and Huggy. I don't know whether they're true, but I saw him play in Cincinnati, and he's like 3 feet outside the 3-point line, and he was he's like huge. And
he didn't care.
He had no shits given.
Zero. He's from Georgia. Huggy got him hooked up, apparently, allegedly, with all these summer jobs where you'd have union jobs and you make like $30 an hour. I was trying to recruit him, but then I went and watched him at Nike camp. I'm like, that ain't gonna work. No, but that's what Indiana is. And look, are we firing Tom Allen regardless of Saturday's outcome? Is it Saturday?
Yeah.
I never know if it's Saturday or Friday.
It depends on if you're Dolson, what's your end game? Like, is your end game to save the $20 million buyout and be fiscally responsible? Or somehow put together a program that brings some energy and enthusiasm to the campus, and you hope that maybe somehow.
What's he going to do?
I think he plays it safe, and I think he keeps Allen another year.
I think he's already got a coach.
Do you really?
If he's any good, and I think he is, if he's any good at his job, he's got the money ready to pay him off, and he's got another coach ready. If he's any good at his job, if you're not, it's either, I'm just telling you, if you're any good at your job, that's what you have.
But here's what he did with basketball, right? And you know more about this,
Go ahead.
about the inner workings. He fired Archie, and then he went to work
And that's stupid.
trying to get Brad.
And that's stupid.
Right?
That's stupid.
And I've
That's
got
what
the
I
timeline
heard.
right.
That's what I heard, yes. That's stupid.
Should have had that conversation on the front
And
end.
so I will be very happy to say you're going to be right and I'm going to be wrong, but you do not, absolutely do not react. You have this set. I'm telling you. I don't want to hear about tampering. I don't want to hear about open records. You know what? I'll give you a story. I'm sitting in my office at Bowling Green. I get a call from the athletic director, Paul Krebs, who was my athletic director at Bowling Green. He's now the athletic director of New Mexico. He says, "Hey, Dan, you know Alfred, right?" I said, "Yep." He goes, "I want Alfred to be the coach of New Mexico." I go, "I think Alfred would leave." Alfred and I have been talking. He goes, "You mind calling him?" "No problem." "Hey, Steve, Dan, Paul Krebs, the AD, great guy. I know you're not happy at Iowa. You got a whole thing going. He wants you to be involved in New Mexico. He wants you to. He wanted to hire Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett wouldn't come, but he goes, "It's a great job. Paul Krebs is one of the great guys. But would you be interested?" "Absolutely, 100%." Now this is 4 weeks to go in the season. I go, "Okay." I'll call Krebs back and go, "Paul, he's very interested. Hey, call him back if you don't mind. Tell him that we'd like to meet." He had his schedule, see if he could possibly meet on a Sunday at some place halfway. Or maybe in Iowa City, I don't know. Call back.
But you can bomb it into Dallas.
Yeah, whatever.
Bomb
Yeah, wherever they're going. I don't know how it all worked out, but that's how this goes. And Steve had that job before the season was over. And New Mexico had their guy before the season was over. And every job, I told you about the AD at Marshall being in my office, and he 2 times, once when Dwight Freeman was the coach, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm going back home and I'm firing him now. You want the job?" Then the next time when I didn't take the job, which was stupid, but then the next time he shows up in my office, he goes, "Hey, what are you doing here?" He goes, "You want to be the head coach?" I go, "Billy Donovan's your coach." He goes, "No, Billy's resigning today." He goes, "He's going to Florida. You want the job?" I go, "Yeah, shit, whatever, So that's my point is.
Yeah.
You
guys are ahead of it.
If you're not ahead of it, you suck and you should be fired.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing with Dolson, Kent. I swear to God, I'm like, I couldn't believe what I was hearing, that he had either locked in Brad or locked in Woods, whoever he wanted.
Yeah.
Like if he said no, great, goodbye, Brad. This last, as long as I'm the AD, you now go to the end of the line. It's a long line. That's what I'm telling Stevens, and I'm moving on. I'm fucking Indiana.
Right. Nobody acts like that.
Nobody.
Like, you've got to be it to have people perceive you as it. And if you're not going to portray yourself as a place that's special and that can win, you can't.
No.
That's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes.
And Indiana has been doing that all the way back. I mean, shit, since forever.
Since
for
Knight
25 years.
Since Knight left.
Yeah.
I mean, and I cannot believe. Now that you said that, I remember Scott calling me with candidates, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?" No. And he's like, "Woodson." I go, "Yeah, it would make sense." I didn't know Woody was going to come in and not know recruits' names like that kid in Kokomo. He called him like Cody or something instead of. I didn't know he's going to be like that. I mean. But if you don't, it's the same thing with assistants. I used to tell my assistants, "Look, I hope you get a job anytime you want. I got a stack full of assistants ready to take your job," and I did.
Yeah.
You just do. Like, I'll give great spend.
It's your job. If you have a job where you've got to hire people,
yes,
you better damn well have a list of names either in your head or in your desk that you're going to access. In radio, it's the same thing.
Absolutely.
If you left, I had to have 3 guys I could talk to.
100%.
If Eddie left, if Kravitz left, I got to have guys, and there they were. There was a list.
They should be in your top drawer.
Right.
You open that drawer, you say, "Okay, Dockett's left. I'm going to talk to Zim." Boom, boom. Now they're not going to be as good as Dockett's. Nobody can be. But but that's true. You did that.
Oh,
had
always.
to.
Yeah.
Had to. I did it with grad assistants. I'm like, okay. I like that way that kid plays. If I can get a grad assistant, which we could never get at Bowling Green, I'm going to offer him a grad assistantship. I want that guy to be part of my program.
Why couldn't you get a grad assistant?
Money.
What's it cost?
Scholarship.
That's free.
Not the way Bowling Green.
It's like a pass-through expense.
Not a Bowling Green, I guess. I don't know. I could never get a grad assistant. How about that? Couldn't get a film guy. Made one up. Got a lawyer from New York. That I took a bad job. I took the worst budget in the Big Ten. All right. Yeah, Urban One. When they kept coming at me, they didn't have any replacement. You think those guys knew? Urban One.
Oh no. No, clearly not. It took them months and months and months and months.
Right. I mean, you got it.
I thought you meant Urban WON. I thought you were talking about Urban Meyer.
No, Urban One. I just saw it. My guy Sean Black. No, you got look. It's just
obviously they had no idea what they were doing.
How do you run a business like that?
I have no idea. That's the first rule. That's working for Severino. If something bad happened and you didn't have some kind of contingency plan to put you in a spot where you could not just like maintain the status quo, but enhance what you was, you deserve to get fired.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, and again, I would bet you. I'll bet you this. You want to make a bet here?
Yeah.
I got two bets.
Yeah.
You want the one that you want to stay away from, but I'm going to drag you into my muck.
Oh, I love it.
I think Sue Bird is not a real lesbian. I think Sue Bird is going to get tired. This is from Lee. This isn't from me. This is from Lee. Lee's like, yeah, I've known these women all my life. She got drug into life. She's going to be tired of Megan Rapinoe. I made the over under 3.5 years. I made the over under 3.5 years.
I
told you. You said you wanted to.
I didn't know we were going.
I know. I told you.
I don't know super
I don't
well
either.
enough to understand.
I don't even never met her. I haven't either. But
sexuality.
Lee goes, look, I've seen that woman. Nah. Now that they're not going to be famous anymore, I think she gave him 2 years. I said, all right, I'll give him 3.5. She studies this. She does. My wife is like, this is her life with. All right, you want it in. You said to me,
you know what?
over under.
My hope is that Sue Bird maintains her glee and remains happy in her life, whatever she chooses.
Yeah, okay, that's not the answer.
No.
What do you think?
I'll take the over.
Okay.
I think she's in it for the long haul.
I don't think so. I can see getting tired of that Megan Rapinoe. Seriously.
Oh,
I mean, how tired
no
are you?
question about that.
Megan Rapinoe set you straight. Like, my buddy Stroh.
Yeah.
A woman called him, said, I'm lesbian, but I don't know if I am. I want you to come out here and have sex with me.
How'd Stroke do?
He went out there.
Yeah.
He took a swing. About halfway, they were having the sex. She goes, yeah, I'm good. Rather be with girls. Didn't hurt his ego 1 second. Went off to the next thing.
There are a lot of variables there that we really don't need to, I guess, explore.
No.
But if you want to be straight or a lesbian based upon how you respond sexually to Stroke,
she did. I met her. I'm like, Stroke
Really?
couldn't get it done. She goes, no, people think that becoming a lesbian or being straight is, and she goes, you know what? It wasn't really a life choice for me. She goes, I kind of always knew I was and I became. She goes, but like Lee and even this lady said, sometimes people get recruited. The recruiting in the lesbian world in softball, I should have Lee sit in here on the show. You'd be falling over laughing at the crazy shit that happens. It's insane.
Really?
Insane. Rooming lists. You're dating her. We go on the road, but you are rooming with me, and she thinks you kind of like me. So now you're in a room for 3 days, on a road trip. She's crazy. It's
I would be the worst lesbian ever. I'd be a terrible lesbian.
Lee went to the AD and said, look, I'm putting a rule. You can't date your teammate. Can't do it. Can't do it. And the AD was like, good rule. Saves a lot of problems. Now you'd get fired, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
I mean, coaches. Lee took over for a coach of Syracuse that was dating a shortstop.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm telling you. Lee has the greatest stories ever.
I don't want to get into any names, but we both know a guy who is at Indiana and ran afoul of all of this craziness, and it ended as ugly as it possibly could. He was quite something.
Yeah.
You probably knew him better than I did.
Yeah.
But
yeah, worked out well. But anyway, you come.
Happy to have. It's good we've got Terry Morin in that.
I love
show.
Terry Morin.
Yep.
I do. I think Terry Morin, and
she's a coach.
Yeah.
Like when she talks, and this is me, media guy, but when she's at a podium and she's talking to people, she carries her point to you in a way that's really compelling.
I agree with that.
I like it. And Tom is exactly the opposite. What's he talking about now?
I'm going to say this: Woody's in the middle, and here's what I mean by that.
Oh yeah.
You want to believe that Woody's that guy, but it's almost like the more you see him, the less you believe he's that teacher coaching guy. You think that's accurate?
And it's something that drives you crazy. That's the tell for me, and that's a first person possessive.
Yeah.
When he goes my doesn't work for me. When it's a coach or a player. My supporting cast. The only guy who could get away with that crap was Jordan. That's it. Everybody else should file that away. And Paul George tried to trot that out a couple of times. Like, what do you do? What?
No.
But yeah, my team, my this, my that. This isn't your anything.
No. The first person stuff came out only once, so I'm not going to lay that on him. But I will tell you.
With Woodson?
Yeah, he went. If you want to talk to Mike Woodson, you got to go meet Mike Woodson.
Oh, that's a third person.
A third person. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the third person. We really can't have that.
No, I'm sorry. Third person. Yeah, you can't have that. We're not having that. I mean, Dockage isn't going to have that.
Jimmy.
Jimmy, try these strength shoes.
Man, Seinfeld hit the nail right on the head with so much of that stuff. Just genius.
Unbelievable.
Everything.
Like
anything that annoys me annoyed them. It was the perfect show.
Back in the day, I wasn't really a big sex guy, but I remember guys, and I'm sure this was national. Remember when George couldn't do it and he had a mango? And he goes, oh, it moved. Hold on. I just happened to see that one. I just happened to see that one. It was a fresh fruit one. You're right. Last thing, there was another question other than the Sue Bird question that I was going to ask you, and I can't remember what the other question was.
I'm looking forward to this.
One I told you was a bad one, and the other I prefaced. I can't remember what the other one was. I think that Indiana parts with Tom Allen. I think they do. I think there's an agreement. I think that they part. Now you're going to ask me who they're going to hire. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. I don't know who's a good fit. I don't know.
What kind of a coach you think would be interested in such a job?
You know what I think would be interesting, and this is not right, but I think it'd be interesting, and this is stupid, but Jimbo Fisher.
Yes.
Jimbo Fisher still won games.
100%.
Right?
Said that over the weekend. They're bowl eligible.
Right.
They paid the guy $76 million to pack a box while his team is bowl eligible. That's crazy.
Right.
Hire him in a minute.
That's what I'm saying.
He's got all the money in the world. How much does he need from Indiana?
You know how much Dan Mullen wanted at a second fiddle place like Mississippi State? Like people say, well, he flamed out at Florida. Oh, look at his record.
Yeah.
It's second only to Urban and all of these 10 coaches they've had since.
So he can't beat Georgia. If that's where we're setting the bar, we need a guy who can beat Georgia.
That's what I'm
Indiana.
saying. I don't want to see, Slappy Johnny from Ball State coming in.
No.
I don't. I want to see somebody that understands big time NIL, big time recruiting. That's what I want to understand. And those two guys do.
And I always think about you about these things because you talk often about how you loved working out walk-ons.
Yeah.
You just wanted guys to get better.
Yes.
You didn't care how, was this a way to win? No, it wasn't a way to win. It's something you felt like you owed to the people who were putting in the time.
Right.
I don't want that guy as a coach for Indiana football.
No.
I want a guy who delegates everything.
Yes.
And understands how it all works and goes about the process of recruiting real players to come to Indiana and play real football.
Also to that point, I don't want anybody learning on the job.
No.
Tom Allen learned on the job. I don't want Tom.
That was
I don't want.
I know this is a whole different thing. I really like Fred Glass. He is a really nice guy. I think as a hirer, he was terrible.
Awful.
Really, really bad.
Awful. Hired Archie Miller. I mean, everybody knew, except for him and Greg Doyle, that Archie Miller was horseshit.
And
for Indiana,
extended Crean at the wrong time.
Yeah.
I just didn't get it.
You know what was interesting to me, and this is what I really don't know. Somebody did an article. I think Outkick did. I think a guy in Outkick did an article about coaches that have a year and they get extended big time on that year.
Yeah.
And Tom Allen's the leader in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Like, holy cow. Dino Babers at Syracuse, the guy I really like. He was at Bowling Green. He came up to me out of the blue on a flight, and he came on when Zaire Franklin got drafted. He's like, I'm just going to tell you. Zaire Franklin's 6th or 7th round pick. He's going to end up being captain of the Colts. He said that. Just a great, great guy. He goes 10-3 in like, I don't know, year 2, somewhere like this. Syracuse gives him everything.
Yeah.
I don't think he's been over 500 yet.
Right.
He just get 5. The 1 year extent. Like, let me ask you, what are you coaching to do?
Right.
Right?
That's a question you need to answer before you do the hiring.
Right.
Right.
Like, if you win 10 games at Indiana, I'm not giving you a lifetime contract.
Right.
I'm expecting you to build this to where we're going to win whatever we can win, whatever. And just because you win, if you got to go, you got to go. I don't know.
And that's Woodson getting the $1 million
bonus. That's the dumbest thing I've seen.
I don't achieve my stated goal, but I get an extra $1 million just out of the sky.
A year.
What kind of management is that?
A year.
Yeah.
Not like a bonus.
Right.
A year.
Yep.
So I'm reading yesterday, CBS HQ on Twitter quotes Woodson about the high expectations at Indiana. There's always high expectations. I'm like, are there really? Are there really? Because there's 36 blog sites, 36 of them will say Indiana played really hard against there, and you gave a coach who came in 3rd with other guy and 9th, and both years the team quit against St. Mary's.
Yeah.
I mean, couldn't even compete, and then quit. And it wasn't only me. Hell, even the idiots at the Indy Star wrote that they quit. And you're saying another $1 million a year?
Yeah.
What's he hired to do?
I think what he's hired to this casts Dolson as really like selfish, but I think as the AD, what they're doing is rewarding people for giving me a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
I don't need to worry about that position anymore. The phone hadn't rang in a month with anybody telling me that I got to fire this guy. And I want him to be here forever.
And he did what is amazing. Again, high expectations. He got in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
You know, how high are the expectations? When you get in the first 4, you get blown out by St. Mary's after beating Wyoming. And then you get into whatever, I don't know who they beat last year in the first round, but they got their ass handed to them embarrassingly by Miami.
Right.
Like, you're telling me there's high expectations for Indiana basketball when that gets rewarded?
Yeah.
I don't buy that.
Nope.
And I know you and I are, you know, but whatever. I mean, look, I hope.
And if a guy comes into your office and says, hey, we've gone to the tournament 2 years, we went to the field of 64, coming out of the play-in, and then we went to the second round, I think I need another $1 million. I'd say, here's a box, get the hell out of my building. I'm going to hire somebody else who can do exactly the same thing. And I'm going to hire somebody, like, don't challenge me with this, because it had to be, it couldn't have been Dolson, just like, you know, bequeathing this out of the sky, right? That somebody had to ask for it. You wouldn't
100%.
just give a guy $1 million because you woke up feeling good one morning, right?
That's a great point. That's a great point.
How's a guy ask for it? The temerity to ask, to say, we're here to win Big Ten championships, we're here to hang a 6th banner, but I need another $1 million for falling well short of any of that. That's crazy.
That's insane. I mean, you know what that is? I mean, if you really want to talk about it realistically, it's a smart agent. Smart agent that knows he has somebody on the hook, meaning he has a athletic director, a board of trustees, because the board of trustees have to okay it. And Buckner is, you know, I'll guarantee you, now that I think about it, I guarantee you Buckner win that, and we might lose him. Buckner and Woodson are business partners. They're all this stuff. Well, I don't even know if Buckner's a business partner. That'd be too much work for him. But They're buddies. They have dinner all the time, and I guarantee you, Woody's like, "Hey man, I need that. Come on." I took it to him. Okay, guarantee it. Now that you said that, I guarantee.
I get very frustrated with that kind of thing.
I don't get frustrated. It's almost like I've expected this out of Indiana. I swear to God, it's almost like I'm like, yeah, okay, they beat Louisville today. They're going to the NCAA tournament. I mean, that's what I expect out of, Indiana. And it sucks because, think about Purdue. Purdue actually wins a Big Ten title like every year. And people are wanting to fire. You know what I mean?
That's craziness. Like, Matt Painter is the perfect coach at Purdue.
Perfect.
That they don't succeed in March. If I were a Purdue person, I could care less. They are really good at what they do.
He looks like Purdue.
He absolutely
got
does.
the blockhead of, he's just a big old
Purdue
nice
Painter.
Guy.
Yeah.
He is
a nice
he's
guy.
A great
Beer
guy.
drinking, a fun guy.
Yeah. He's Purdue. Get off Painter's. Painter, last thing, Gonzaga.
Oh, yeah.
I think they win. I think they cover.
Purdue wins.
I do too. I mean, I don't know. Maui is tough. Maui is, Honolulu. You got to get, I'll never forget, we won a tournament out there, beat University of Hawaii, one of their better teams. And I remember guy telling me you got to drink water on the way on the plane. Everybody's got to drink water, stay hydrated. As soon as you get there, put your bags up and go practice. Put them up. Just go practice.
Really?
So we went straight to practice. Within 2 minutes, I kicked my second best player out of the practice. Get your ass into the locker room. And my assistant goes, "There's no locker room. Get your ass." I gave him my car keys. I did. It was a little gym.
Go sit in the back seat.
Yeah, I did. Here's the car keys. Turn the air conditioning on and do whatever the fuck you want. Here's the main key. I did. And Lenny, my buddy, he's Lenny Matella, was from my high school, and I love him and I love him to this day. I think he had about probably 2 games, probably had 40 points combined, probably averaged 20 and 10. And we beat Hawaii, who had a really good team that year. I think they made the tournament. We beat them on their own court in front of a packed house, and Lenny was a mother.
See, you got to get their attention. You got to change your behavior. You
I mean,
get what you tolerate.
If you're going to Hawaii or you're going on one of these, maybe not New York, but if you're going to Bahamas, you got to make them know, okay, we're in the Bahamas, but we're not here to, we're here to play, because.
And hydration, 10 ounces of water per hour in the air.
There you go.
That
was the key when Ball State in 2002 beat Kansas, #1 in the country in Maui. Tim Buckley, we ended up beating the shit out of Ball State in the Big Mac tournament. But Tim Buckley, they beat Ball State and they beat Kansas and UCLA. And then they got crushed by I can't remember. They won. Oh, it was unbelievable. And so it was like a big thing. Like every kid was given however many ounces equated to what you said, and we didn't cramp up, and they did. How about that? Good for Tim Buckley.
Winning.
Oh, the dog's outside. That means somebody might be home.
Well, that's good news. You don't want to be bouncing around this.
Oh, no, I left the dog outside.
He's wondering how to get in.
Oh, shit.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a great
Hey,
Thanksgiving.
whoa. You got to like and subscribe and what?
Yeah. And if you subscribe to this channel and to my channel, we're having drawings tomorrow, Wednesday. It is what do we call this? Black Friday blowout.
Oh, Black Friday.
I went to the swag store, bought some Colt stuff, and we're getting a new autographed jersey today. We don't know who. It's a mystery.
And we might give you this beautiful Moondrops Distillery. By the way, Can I just tell you something, Ken?
What?
It's Thanksgiving. You want to go to your family's house, go to Moondrops and buy their stuff. It's so freaking good. I did it the other day. I went to Meijer. I was going over a buddy's house. I bought 2 things of Moondrops. One was bourbon, because I knew he liked bourbon. And the other was this stuff called Dreamsicle, which it's moonshine.
Yeah, right.
So freaking good. So anyway. Yeah.
And it's a great spot. We went there, saw that band and whatnot.
That's right.
We had a great time.
Yeah, it's a good time.
All right. Have a good week. Have a great Thanksgiving.